Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to talk to you about a clip from the town hall. In this one, Aggie and Weirdbeard are talking about the complexity of introducing new updates to the games because of the coding hurdles and baby steps that are required to get to that end result. And I think this is really important for our community here because we're constantly hearing questions like, when land, and there's accusations that no progress is being made. But in the background, there needs to be this understand or this nuance of understanding around the fact that there are actually baby steps being done in all of these sort of facets and capacities of the game that we want to see changed. Whether it's bringing land to the game, whether it's introducing guild alliances, fixing it requires a ton of little things along the way that you don't even think about, that you would never ask for, but need to be corrected or we can't get to that end result. Let's listen to the clip, and I want to add some more thoughts here. So Weirdbeard's about to talk, and he's gonna speak to how we need to walk before we can run. And you'll hear him talk about how he'll give you two different examples on we need to do this before we can do that. Let's listen to it.
I mean, again, we're working on, because I said it kind of earlier in that, like, when we do some of these bigger things like guild alliances, or even when I've talked about league locks for tournaments, right, where you get to select your own league and you lock to it for an entire season, so you're not having to bounce around. There are small problems that already exist now that if we were to scale things bigger, they go from being like kind of an annoyance to like, oh my God, this is like, what the hell is happening? It's the same thing with like ownership of guilds right now, right? Technically, if somebody just goes AFK on a guild, you're boned, like, to put it nicely. And like, it's just up in the air and there's nothing you can do about it with an AFK leader. What would happen if we had a guild alliance with 10 guilds and that guild alliance leader went AFK? You know what I mean? Like, okay, so that's something that we now have to fix before we can do a lot of these other cooler things. When it comes to like new player experience and doing a tutorial, hey, if we're going to be looking at battles to...
I want to stop there because the real reason why I wanted to do this video is really talking on the topic of guild alliances and how it sounds so simple on the surface. Like you think, wow, why can't we just kind of partner with other guilds and, maybe we enter into frays in some sort of cooperative manner. Like if your guild has a certain bonus, whether it's a home or arena bonus, or whether it's, blocking out X monster or summoner bonus, which are things that you can earn through your guild brawl building or your guild buildings being upgraded. Maybe guild alliances could allow you to share certain benefits. You could imagine something like that, and it feels so simple. Well, look, I just want to partner with Guild B and what's the big deal? I just want to like see some sort of easy implementation of some sort of partnership benefit that would come out of that. What's the big deal? Well, just listening to Weirdbeard there, it's like, that's something I never thought about. And I think about this game all the time. It's my favorite game that I play. It's it's not only obviously my YouTube channel's main content, but it's a joy for me every day. I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm trying to understand these new things. I was aware that guild alliances were coming. I was thinking, when's that going to come, and what are the hurdles in the way? I would have never considered this fact, but absolutely, this is a genuine concern. Even from a guild perspective, I have time and attention. I've created time and attention. We have 10 guilds under the time and attention banner. And that means there's, probably 200 people that are time and attention guildies. And it's like, they're counting on my leadership, not just my leadership, fortunately, but, for the, so we can formulate Weirdbeard's analogy fully. Recognize the fact that if I owned all 10 guilds and all upgrades were dependent on me choosing to send those crowns or not, because that's how guilds work. The owner can spend the crowns, no one else can. And if I just disappeared, there's no more upgrades than that at all. And maybe for months and months and months, or years even, you've been part of a guild and you're contributing to the development of that guild, and you want to see it thrive and you want to achieve a high level of success, and you get a ghost of a guild leader. I mean, you're hooped. There has to be some sort of technological way to solve such a problem. But you and I definitely would perhaps not even consider that. We would just say, why can't you just start the Guild Brawl Alliance? and we start finger pointing at Splinterlands, the development team, and we say, it's so easy. Just make it happen. Just do this thing that I love and expect and I want. I can't imagine why you aren't. And it's like, it's not about, we often think, we just jump to the conclusion it's about developer timelines and about, only having so many bodies, and they laid off people recently, and now it's having this impact because it's my pet project, my favorite thing isn't happening. No, it's not. That's not the case. It's literally, we recognize A as being an amazing destination, an end goal that we want to aim at. Guild alliances, for example, we want that. But there's 5 or 10 or maybe 100 things in between. And so one quick solution I wanted to share here, and this is just brainstorming around guild alliances, because I do think this would be really cool. Because I think we're going to get to a place where guild alliances are going to happen. And in this town hall, Aggro talked a bit about how that might look. He said, like, what if they could brawl together? You can imagine we have, inter-guild alliance brawls. We have inter-guild alliance like tournaments. Maybe then we could have PvE type modes where our guild alliances are going into the Splinterlands ecosystem and fighting some boss battles together collectively, benefiting, like I alluded to earlier. Maybe we benefit from each other's guild buildings and maybe land ownership, and maybe there's resource trading discounts. There's so many cool things that could come out of this. I'm excited for it. I want to see it happen. And one suggestion, because this is obviously a big hurdle, Weirdbeard mentions it here. What are we going to do if we get ghost leaders? What if somebody with the keys to the castle disappears? I think one interesting thing would be if you could consider SPS governance speaking into this conversation. So you've got presumably a guild leader vets the people that are in that guild and has approved them, has invited them, likes them, wants them there. You could imagine a scenario where the SPS holders within that guild can, I'm going to say on like some sort of time sensitive window, approve the spending of crowns for it, or perhaps approve the promotion of a co-leader, which could, would need to be really clear so there's no like usurping of the crown kind of thing. But if there was, for instance, an absence of a leader for like a 6-month period, like literally no commands, no nothing, you could propose, maybe you propose to check the blockchain. Look, he has not even submitted a battle over 6 months. He hasn't spent the crowns. We need to get these upgrades. We need to oust him. I could imagine something where SPS governance is guiding that. And I think we all know that SPS is going to be a bigger and bigger part of what this game is doing. So that's just my 2 cents on one angle of how we could handle that. If you guys have comments on how to approach that, I'd love to see them in the comments below. But also, I hope that this video has been able to point us to the fact that there are tons of little barriers in front of every big step we want to take. And these little barriers have to be accomplished or overcome before we can reach the end goal that that you and I, the players, truly want to enjoy. And I hope that this will spark a bit of patience and, I guess, maybe additional respectfulness to the team that's clearly striving for the same goals we want. Maybe for different reasons. They want a successful Splinterlands because of profit, but also they want a successful Splinterlands because they enjoy the game. And if you don't believe that, just even at the minimum, recognize the fact that their desire for successful Splinterlands due to profit is going to drive the same interests that your desire for a successful Splinterlands for its enjoyment's sake are. Those two desires coincide. They walk hand in hand. And so for that reason, I hope that our community can be more patient around topics like guild alliances or when land, recognizing that there are a million steps in between every major accomplishment. And we don't, as non-developers, don't recognize that, as I didn't recognize this guild alliance barrier with the possible ghost leaders. So again, thanks guys for your time and attention. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.